is up, my planting people? My name is Lithius and welcome to Roots Ready. As you can see, I am once again surrounded by some of the things I love, and that is my plants. Today's video is all about large plants, large floor plants that can act as a serious statement piece in your home. If you've got the right lighting and you've got the space for it, I would 100% wholeheartedly recommend you get yourself one of these large plants, because it's just boom, it's just there, it draws your attention. It can help to soften a corner. It just brings a pop of color, a bit of life into your space. And I've got loads of different plants here, different species of plants, and I would love to share them with you. So without any further ado, let's get straight into the video. First up is none other than the Monstera Deliciosa, or the cheese plant as it's commonly known. Swiss cheese plant, I should say, as it's commonly known. And it is just an absolute stunner. It is a classic in the plant enthusiast space, honestly, and you can see why. I bought this plant when it was absolutely tiny, and in a matter of months it has shot up so much and it just keeps growing. This plant wasn't intended to be a floor plant. I bought it to be just a small plant. Sorry guys, I hope you can see me. I bought it so that it could just chill out on one of my cupboards, but it's grown so quickly and so rapidly that it now lives on the floor, and it looks really incredible the way that it just sits against the wall, which is really cool. I really like this one because I don't need to put it, just for my own preference, I don't need to get a moss pole or support just yet, because it just sort of leans against the wall and it will just follow that up. But yeah, it's a really gorgeous plant, really simple, really easy to look after, and definitely brings that jungle vibe into your home. And as it grows, it changes, so it gives you something to look at, and it could, yeah, just transform your space over time. Really cool and unique plant, the Monstera Deliciosa. So next up is this one right here. I'm not even going to attempt to pick it up like I did with the previous plant, but this is my Dracena. I'm not too sure exactly which type it is, but it is an absolute beauty of a plant. This plant, it looks striking because you've got sort of, I'm going to try to, there you go, you've got that sort of woody stem. I've got two in this part actually. You've got that woody stem, and then you've got that canopy on the top that sort of just drapes over, really subtle type look to it. And most of all, what I really love about this plant is that it is so easy to look after. Guys, I kid you not, it is probably the easiest plant that I have in my collection to look after. It requires little to no experience. All you have to do is make sure that you don't overwater it. This plant, at times, I don't recommend this, guys, but it could last a month without watering, almost like a succulent. I do not recommend that. I tend to water mine once a week to once every week and a half when the soil is dry, and that's the only time I do that. And it really likes that. It really responds to it. In the right conditions, with the right lighting, this plant can grow extremely quickly. I tried my best to slow the growth of this plant by keeping it in a smaller pot for as long as I could, but it was just time to repot it, and I did so about a month or 2 months ago, and it's certainly started to grow up again. Really cool plant. It doesn't require tremendous amounts of lights to survive, but obviously optimal conditions is bright indirect light, and you give it a bit of love and it will love you right back. It is an absolute gorgeous plant. Next up is my Cereus cactus. I bought this plant as a Cereus blue. If you like, you can go ahead and watch my unboxing of this plant. It's very new, probably one of the newest plants in my collection, and a gorgeous one at that. Now this plant lives on the floor. It's a large plant, so you can't really live anywhere, but it's right in front of a west facing window, so it's loving that bright direct sunlight in the afternoons. Absolutely loving it. This plant, I should say, has really sparked a crazy interest in me for cacti type plants, cacti and Euphorbia type plants, and guys, I kid you not, like, it has opened my eyes to a whole new world, and I couldn't be happier. It's an absolutely beautiful beautiful plant. I should say I haven't had this plant for long enough to give you guys a definitive care guide to it. All I know is a cactus and I treat it as such. I give it as much light as it can bear and it can take and as I can provide. And I really try to monitor my watering so that I don't drown the roots and kill the plant. So what I tend to do is I'm aiming to water this plant maximum twice a month in the summer months, and in the winter months I'm going to cut that back as far as possible. Since I've had it, I've only had to water it the one time since I've transferred it into this pot, and I'm probably not going to do that, water it again for another couple of weeks. But once I get to know this plant and I get accustomed to its care and stuff, I'll be sure to provide you guys with an update and a care guide. And thanks to that gorgeous Cereus cactus, it has made me fall back in love with this plant right here. This is my Euphorbia Trigona, also known as the African milk tree. And guys, it is, I'm going to put it back down before I drop it. This plant is amazing. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, I have to get it. I have to get it. And it was this one in particular. It is so beautiful. Sadly, I've seemed to have lost the leaves on it during the winter. That was my fault. I thought I had a spider mite issue. Turns out I didn't. But I sprayed it with some neem oil and some soap. And the leaves didn't seem to like that. So it dropped all its leaves. But it's still going strong. I can physically notice that it has grown somewhat since the spring. This is a lot longer, I must say, in the last month or so. It's really grown. But this plant is so beautiful, guys, and it's so easy to look after. Its care is similar to that of a cactus, albeit it can tolerate just a little bit more water. So if you're watering your cactus once a month, you can water this Euphorbia twice a month. Yeah, it's really forgiving, really beautiful plant, quite sharp, I must say. The thorns on here, they will give you a prick if you're not careful. It's called the African milk tree because if you cut it, if it's injured, it will ooze a white milky substance. It's a latex substance, so be careful because it can be an irritant if it goes onto your skin, if it goes into your eyes. But it is such a beautiful plant, really different. Like I have a lot of leafy foliage type plants, and these cactus and Euphorbia just sort of cut through that and give you that stark contrast. So yeah, I would certainly suggest getting something like this for your space, just to mix it up a little bit if you don't already have something. The last plant on my list is, of course, I wasn't going to forget it. It is the rubber tree, the Ficus Elastica. In particular here, this one is the Burgundy. It is beautiful, guys. Come on, just look at it. I'm just going to give you a second. But yeah, I'm playing. The rubber tree, also known as the Ficus Elastica. In particular, this one is the Burgundy because of its dark green leaves that comes in a burgundy color, like this one over here. If you can see it, it comes in a dark sort of maroon color, and it's really pretty. This is a 3-plant collection, and it's just absolutely wonderful. Again, I've got this in the corner of my room. You guys will see it in most of my videos. It sits right here behind me. It gets that east facing sun in the morning, and it seems to love that. I substitute it as well for a couple of hours with some artificial lighting, just to make sure that it has what it needs to produce these absolutely massive leaves, guys. Absolutely gorgeous. It is a really pretty plant to have, really easy to care for as well. It doesn't like to sit in wet soil for too long, so make sure it has a well draining soil, and water it once a week depending on your environment, just making sure that the top 2 inches or so of soil is dry before you water it again. It can grow quite large as well if that's what you're looking for. It is a tree, so yeah, it can grow quite large, which I cannot wait for, guys. I really do love this plant. And that was it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this small but mighty collection of large floor plants. Let me know what you think about it in the comment area. Let me know if you have a favorite large house plant Let's talk about it. I'm also over on Instagram, where I am more than happy to answer any question that you have. So you can hit me up on there. If you enjoyed the video, please do hit that like button, that bell icon if you want to, and of course please consider subscribing to this channel. It really does help me out. The classic YouTuber line, but I'm gonna say it anyway. But yes guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and keep planting.